Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on my YouTube video. Today I'm going to show you how to make, not show you how to make, but I'm going to walk you through a code of a very simple cashiering system. This cashiering system is heavily reliant on JOption pane. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to import JOption pane. Now as you can see here, I have 5 things that I have imported, but the most important one here is the JOption pane, which is this one. We're gonna mine this a little bit later, and then what we're gonna do next is that we're gonna declare our variables. Now when I declare my variables, I usually like it at the very top, just below the public static void, because it looks clean that way, but it doesn't have to be that way. That's just my preference. So let's start running this. Before that, my variables consist of name, message, item, products, price, index, total, receipt, and so on and so on. Cash tender change, subtotal, menu, and then I go with my loops. So I will be running this one, and then what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna show you which codes are responsible for what's happening on screen. Let's go. Alright, so here is our first input dialog box. The one responsible for this one is our string name, our variable name, variable string type, data type string, line 13 and line 30 and 31. Now when you're making your cashiering system, you don't have to ask for the name. You could instantly just go with the menu, but for my cashiering system, I would like to ask for your name. So it asks you to input your name. So when I input my name here, let's put Shinji. Then what that does is that it's gonna store that data into line number 13. Well, you can't see it now, but it's there, alright? And then it's gonna show me this. Hello Shinji, welcome to debauchery. That's line 31. Since the data of my name is now in line 13, it's gonna take that data and then shows there. Hello Shinji, welcome to debauchery. Okay. After that, it's gonna show us a menu. Now the one responsible for this is line 74. It says item is equal to JOption pane dot show input dialog open parenthesis menu semicolon. Now it may look like that this is the one responsible for everything, but no, these are just a bunch of words tacked on the dialog box, and the real one responsible for this is our array, our variable products and our variable price and index. When you want to sell something in a cashiering system, you would want your products to be inside of an array. You see, an array is like a collection of data. It's when you use an array for your products, Java won't find it hard to find, and it won't take long for Java to find it. When you put your products inside of an array, it kind of arranges them into 1, 2, 3, and so on and so on. Same goes with your price. As long as they are parallel to each other, they are in the same position, then it will work. Okay, so let's start ordering from the black market. Let's say I want heart. That would be 7. Now we have here input into quantity of heart. Which one is responsible for this? We have line 75 to line 92. See, what's happening here is that if integer that parse in item is not equals to 23, that means that if I did not choose item number 23, then it would ask me how much I want to buy in that product. Like how many product of that do I want to buy? It's gonna ask me that, and then I will have to input how many I want to buy. Let's say I only want to buy one, and it redirects me to the menu once again. So why does it redirect me to the menu? Because if I don't click or choose 23, then it's never gonna calculate how much I have to pay. So it loops back to the menu again and again until I choose 23. So let's see I'm done. I only want one heart. I'm gonna choose 23 now, and what's gonna happen is that it's gonna calculate the total, how much it is. It says $119,000. The one responsible for that is this one. Line 88 to line 92. Now that they calculated this, this total comes from our variable subtotal, which is the price multiplied to the quantity. It says here the total is enter cash tendered, and it's gonna ask us how much money we will be paying. So I'm going to pay the exact amount, $119,000, and it prints out a receipt. Now the original receipt, remember, is that it's in the upper side. Now if you can see here, why did it print the total cash tendered X VAT change even though it's not here? Well, that's because if we put that in the upper side in the first few stages, then it wouldn't work. The only thing that's responsible for this, the upper part of the receipt, is this one, and we have which is line 20 to 23, and then we have line 109 to line 114. As you can see here, we have receipt plus equals orders semicolon plus equals total cash tendered net X VAT, and then change. And that's all for it. But what if, let's try running that again. What if I didn't enter the exact amount? Like, what if I entered the wrong amount, like less than what is needed? Let's say I want 5 inches of human skin, and then I paid only $40. It says error, insufficient amount. And the one responsible for this is my if else statement. You see, it's here in line 91 to 122. Now what I did here is that if cash tendered is greater than or equals to total, then it's gonna calculate the cash tendered. It's gonna calculate the cash tendered and print out the rest of the receipt. But however, if the cash tendered, the entered amount is less than the total amount, then what's gonna happen is that it's gonna print out this message too that I inserted, error, insufficient amount, and then it's going to exit the program. It's gonna, and that's all. That's all for our tutorial, guys. Thank you so much for watching my tutorial. It wasn't that helpful, but I hope that you guys had learned something from my cashiering system.